Top 10 Haunted Places in New York. New York is famous for its bright lights and bustling streets, but hidden beneath its beauty are dark secrets. From an abandoned asylum filled with tortured souls to a house so terrifying it inspired horror movies, these places hold spirits that refuse to leave. Would you visit? The Amityville Horror House, the house that feeds on fear location. Amityville, New York. One night in 1974 changed this house forever. At 112 Ocean Avenue, Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered his entire family while they slept, his parents and 4 siblings. But it wasn't just the murders that made this house infamous. A year later, the Lutz family moved in. They lasted just 28 days. What they experienced inside became one of the most terrifying hauntings in American history. The house stood like a nightmare frozen in time, a Dutch colonial home with ominous quarter-moon windows staring like eyes. In December 1975, George and Kathy Lutz moved in with their 3 children, unaware that the horrors were only beginning. Paranormal encounters reported by the Lutz family. Horrific cold spots and temperature drops. Doors and windows slamming shut on their own. Black slime oozing from the walls. A pig-like creature with glowing red eyes watching from the windows. One night, George woke up at 3:15 a.m., the same time the DeFeo murders occurred. He heard footsteps in the hallway, but no one was there. Their daughter, Missy, began speaking to an imaginary friend named Jody. But Jody wasn't imaginary. Missy described Jody as a pig with glowing red eyes. One night, Kathy saw Jody staring at her from the window. But when she ran outside, she found hoof prints in the snow. More terrifying activity. George woke up levitating above his bed. Kathy felt unseen hands grabbing her. Their priest was attacked by an invisible force, warning them to get out. After just 28 days, the Lutz family abandoned the house forever. But some believe the horror never left. Would you step inside the Amityville Horror House knowing what lurks within? Rolling Hills Asylum. The Forgotten Souls of the Insane Location. East Bethany, New York. Once known as the Genesee County Poorhouse, Rolling Hills Asylum opened in 1827 to house the mentally ill, orphans, criminals, and the poor. Many who entered never left. With over 1,700 recorded deaths and possibly more, this place became a tomb for the forgotten. Today, their spirits still roam its halls. Walking into Rolling Hills Asylum feels like stepping into a nightmare. Long, dimly lit hallways stretch endlessly, peeling paint curling off the walls. Terrifying paranormal activity reported. Blood-curdling screams echoing down empty hallways. Shadow figures moving from room to room. The sound of heavy breathing when no one is there. One of the most feared spirits is Roy. A former patient over 7 feet tall, Roy suffered from gigantism and was abandoned here by his family. Roy's rage and sadness still haunt Rolling Hills. Visitors report seeing a towering shadow figure lurking in doorways. Some feel a heavy presence pressing on their chest. Other paranormal encounters. Cold hands grabbing visitors in the shadow hall. Disembodied whispers calling out names. Objects moving on their own, chairs sliding across the floor. One investigator captured an EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, of a voice saying, "Help me." But when he played it back, no one else was in the room. Would you spend the night in Rolling Hills Asylum knowing the spirits inside are desperate to escape? New York's haunted history goes beyond ghost stories. It's filled with restless spirits, tragic pasts, and chilling encounters. From a mansion where a murdered general still walks the halls to a Broadway theater where a phantom performer refuses to leave the stage, these are the most terrifying places in the Empire State. Would you visit? The Morris Jumel Mansion. Where history refuses to die. Location. Manhattan, New York. The Morris Jumel Mansion is the oldest surviving house in Manhattan, built in 1765. It was used as George Washington's headquarters during the Revolutionary War and later became home to Eliza Jumel, one of the wealthiest women in early America. But Eliza's past is shrouded in mystery. She married a man who died under suspicious circumstances. Some say she murdered him. Now, spirits roam the halls of the mansion, refusing to be forgotten. The mansion's grand staircase creaks under unseen footsteps. Some believe it's the ghost of Stephen Jumel, Eliza's husband, who died mysteriously after falling on a pitchfork. Terrifying paranormal activity reported. Visitors hear whispers echoing through the halls. A woman in a dark dress appears in mirrors, then vanishes. Doors slam shut without warning. One group of schoolchildren on a tour saw an elderly woman in period clothing standing on the stairs. She hushed them, then disappeared into thin air. Eliza Jumel herself is one of the most active spirits. Encounters with Eliza. Psychics claim she still watches over her home. Visitors feel icy fingers brush against their skin. EVP recordings captured a woman's voice saying, "Leave my house." One paranormal team saw a candlelight flickering inside while the house was locked. When they checked the footage later, they heard a woman laughing. Would you enter the Morris Jumel mansion knowing that its most famous resident never left? Or the new Amsterdam Theatre, Broadway's Phantom Performer location, Manhattan, New York. The new Amsterdam Theatre is one of Broadway's most iconic venues, home to legendary performances. But some say one performer never took her final bow. Olive Thomas, a Ziegfeld Follies dancer, tragically died in 1920. Some believe it was an accident. Others say it was murder. Now, her ghost still roams the theater, watching over the stage she loved. Paranormal encounters at the new Amsterdam Theatre. Performers see a shadowy woman standing in the wings. Cold spots appear suddenly, even in the summer heat. Security guards hear giggling in the dressing rooms when no one is inside. One actor rehearsing alone saw a woman in a beaded dress staring at him from the balcony. When he looked back, she was gone. The most terrifying encounters happen backstage. More haunting reports. A glowing figure has been seen in the mirrors of dressing room No. 1. EVPs have captured a woman's voice saying, "I'm still here." Stage lights flicker right before curtain call, as if Olive is giving her blessing. One night, a technician felt a gentle hand on his shoulder. He turned, but the room was empty. Would you perform at the new Amsterdam Theatre, knowing Olive Thomas may still be watching? New York's haunted past stretches from eerie castles to cursed war forts. We uncover chilling tales from a haunted mansion where a woman's cries still echo, a castle built on secrets, and a war site where soldiers refuse to rest. Would you visit? Belhurst Castle, a luxury hotel with a dark past location. Geneva, New York. Belhurst Castle is one of the most stunning hotels in New York, but behind its beauty lies a tragic past. Built in the 1800s, the castle was once a secret gambling house, a speakeasy, and the site of mysterious deaths. The most famous ghost? Isabella, an opera singer who fled to the castle to escape her lover. But as she ran down the underground tunnels, the walls collapsed, burying her alive. Now, Isabella's spirit still roams the castle, mourning her lost love. Guests at Belhurst Castle report seeing a woman in a flowing white gown. Some hear soft singing in the dead of night. Terrifying paranormal activity. Reported. Chandeliers sway on their own. Footsteps echo down empty hallways. A woman's voice whispers, "Help me." One visitor felt a cold breath on her neck, only to turn and see no one. Another saw a shadowy figure standing at the end of their bed. Encounters with Isabella. Wineglasses shatter without reason. Visitors feel icy fingers touch their skin. EVPs have captured a woman sobbing. A staff member once locked up the wine cellar, only to return the next morning and find every bottle moved. Security footage showed no one was inside. Would you spend the night at Belhurst Castle, knowing its most tragic guest never checked out? Fort William Henry Museum, the Ghost Soldiers of the Past, location, Lake George, New York. During the French and Indian War, Fort William Henry saw one of the bloodiest massacres in New York history. Hundreds of British soldiers were slaughtered and left to rot. Today, their spirits still walk the grounds. Visitors report chilling encounters with ghostly soldiers, eerie drumbeats, and shadow figures. Paranormal encounters at the fort. Gunshots ring out, but there's no battle. A shadowy soldier stands at the entrance gate, then vanishes. Guests hear voices whispering in French. One visitor saw a soldier in full uniform staring at him. Thinking it was a reenactor, he went to say hello, but the man disappeared into thin air. More paranormal reports. Visitors feel sudden bursts of cold air on hot summer days. Objects move inside the museum when no one is around. Disembodied voices are heard calling out for help. A paranormal team once set up motion sensors inside an empty barracks. At 3 a.m., the alarm went off. When they checked the footage, a shadow figure passed by the camera. Would you visit Fort William Henry knowing the spirits of fallen soldiers still patrol the grounds? The Sagamore Hotel, the cursed resort of Lake George, location, Bolton Landing, New York. The Sagamore Hotel is a luxurious lakeside resort, but beneath its beauty lies a chilling past. Ghostly encounters include a little boy who runs through the hallways, then vanishes. A woman in Victorian clothing seen staring out at the lake. A mysterious man in a top hat who appears in guests' rooms. Some believe the resort is cursed, as several mysterious deaths have been recorded on the property. Guests at the Sagamore Hotel often report hearing laughter late at night, only to find empty hallways. One of the most famous ghosts is a young boy seen running through the hotel lobby. Terrifying paranormal activity. Reported. Footsteps on the grand staircase with no one in sight. Ghostly figures seen standing by the lake. Elevators moving by themselves. One night, a guest woke up to a man in a top hat standing at the foot of their bed. When they blinked, he disappeared. More haunted encounters. Guests hear whispers in empty hallways. Doors slam shut without warning. Some see the reflection of an unknown woman in the mirror. A paranormal team once recorded a child's voice giggling when there were no children staying at the hotel. Would you stay at the Sagamore Hotel knowing its past guests may never have left? The New York Public Library, where spirits still read. Location: Manhattan, New York. The New York Public Library is home to millions of books, but also restless spirits. Haunted encounters include shadow figures lurking between bookshelves, the sound of pages flipping with no one there, a ghostly man seen pacing in the reading room. Some believe the spirits belong to former librarians who never left. The whispers of the past still echo inside the New York Public Library. Visitors report seeing ghostly figures gliding between the shelves. Strange happenings include chairs moving on their own in the reading rooms, cold spots appearing out of nowhere, a woman's voice whispering, "Shh." One security guard saw a man in an old suit sitting at a desk. When he turned back, the chair was empty. Other paranormal reports. People hear footsteps behind them, but turn to find no one there. Books falling off the shelves without explanation. EVPs capturing faint voices saying, "I'm still here." Would you visit the New York Public Library knowing its spirits may still be checking out books? The Montauk Project, the inspiration for Stranger Things. Location: Montauk, New York. The Montauk Air Force Base was once a top-secret government facility. Some believe it was the site of horrific experiments, including time travel and mind control. Conspiracy theories and hauntings. People claim to hear disembodied voices near the abandoned base. Strange lights appear in the sky above Montauk. Unexplained figures seen walking the perimeter, then disappearing. This eerie location inspired the hit series Stranger Things. Terrifying encounters at Montauk. Locals report hearing screaming near the base at night. Mysterious figures have been seen standing on the towers, before vanishing. Some claim to have lost time after visiting the site. One man reported hearing voices inside the abandoned tunnels, but when he turned to leave, he found scratches on his arm. More unexplained phenomena. Electronic devices stop working near the base. Some visitors feel dizzy and disoriented. Strange military files leaked about Project Montauk. Would you visit Montauk Air Force Base knowing what might still be hidden inside? The Kreischer Mansion, a house of tragedy and murder location, Staten Island, New York. The Kreischer Mansion is one of the most haunted houses in New York. Ghostly encounters include a woman seen sobbing in the upstairs window, strange noises coming from the basement, a shadowy figure watching from the attic. Built in the 1800s, the house is linked to a gruesome murder and a curse that still lingers. Paranormal activity at Kreischer Mansion. Visitors hear knocking sounds from the attic. Cold spots appear in the dining room. A woman's voice is heard crying near the staircase. A former owner was murdered in the house. His body burned in the fireplace. Some say his spirit still haunts the mansion. More terrifying encounters. EVPs have captured whispers saying, "Get out." Chandeliers swing violently on their own. Some visitors feel an unseen force push them. Would you enter the Kreischer Mansion knowing it holds the echoes of its tragic past? From haunted castles and cursed hotels to war forts and secret military bases, New York is filled with spirits and secrets that refuse to be forgotten. Some ghosts linger where they died. Others are still searching for answers. But one thing is certain, they are still here. Which haunted location in New York would you visit?